औज़ुबिल्लाहिमिनश्शैतानिर्रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। 9th क्लास फ़िज़िक्स के गेस्ट पेपर स्कीम के साथ मैं आपका मेज़बान MNA गुम्मन आपकी खिदमत में हाज़िर हूँ। हमारे ये गेस्ट पेपर जो हैं पंजाब के तमाम तालीमी बोर्ड बशमूल गुजरांवाला, फैसलाबाद, सरगोदा, डेरा गाजी खान, साहिवाल, लाहौर, मुल्तान, रावलपिंडी, बहावलपुर बोर्ड के लिए यकसा मुफीद हैं। इसके अलावा ये आज़ाद कश्मीर बोर्ड के लिए भी बेहतरीन है। दहम जमात के इम्तहानात ने साबित किया क्यों हमारे गेस्ट पेपर पंजाब भर में सबसे ज़्यादा मकबूल और कामयाब तरीन हैं। एक ज़रूरी हिदायत है कि अगर आपने हमारा यूट्यूब चैनल अब तक सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया तो फ़ौरी तौर पर हमारे चैनल MNA गुम्मन को सब्सक्राइब कर लें और बेल का बटन लाजमी दबा दें ताकि हमारी आइंदा वीडियो से आप बर वक्त इस्तेफ़ादा कर सकें। जी, सबसे पहले बात करते हैं पेपर स्कीम की तरफ आते हैं और पेपर स्कीम में MCQ'S की बात करते हैं। और जैसे कि आप जानते हैं 9th क्लास फ़िज़िक्स में 9 चैप्टर हैं, तो चैप्टर नंबर 1 और चैप्टर नंबर 5 और 9 में से दो MCQ हैं, बाकी सब में से एक MCQ है। उसके बाद बारी है जी शॉर्ट क्वेश्चन आंसर्स की। तो पेपर स्कीम जो शॉर्ट क्वेश्चन आंसर्स की है वो इस तरह से है कि चैप्टर नंबर 1, 3, 5, 6, 7 और 9 में से तीन शॉर्ट क्वेश्चंस हैं, जबकि यूनिट नंबर 2, 4 और 8 में से दो शॉर्ट क्वेश्चंस है। और शॉर्ट क्वेश्चंस की पेयरिंग इस तरह से है कि जो क्वेश्चन नंबर 2 है वो यूनिट नंबर 1, 2, 3 में से है, और यूनिट 1 में से 3, यूनिट 2 में से 2, यूनिट 3 में से 3 शॉर्ट क्वेश्चन हैं। यूँ मजमूई तौर पर 8 सवालात में से आपने कोई से 5 शॉर्ट क्वेश्चन अटैम्प्ट करने हैं। क्वेश्चन नंबर 3 जो है वो यूनिट नंबर 4, 5, 6 पर है मुश्तमिल, और यूनिट 4 में से 2, यूनिट 5 और 6 में से 3 शॉर्ट क्वेश्चंस हैं। यूँ इन 8 में से आपने 5 शॉर्ट क्वेश्चंस करने हैं। शॉर्ट क्वेश्चन नंबर 4 जो है वो यूनिट नंबर 7, 8, 9 में से है। यूनिट 7 और 9 में से 3, जबकि यूनिट 8 में से 2 शॉर्ट क्वेश्चंस हैं। उसके बाद बारी है जी लॉन्ग क्वेश्चन आंसर्स की। लॉन्ग क्वेश्चन आंसर्स कुछ इस तरह से हैं इसकी पेयरिंग के जो 5A लॉन्ग क्वेश्चन है वो यूनिट नंबर 2 में से है और 5B यूनिट नंबर 3 में से है। यानी यूनिट नंबर 2 और 3 तैयार करके आप क्वेश्चन नंबर 5 अटैम्प्ट कर सकते हैं। इसी तरह क्वेश्चन नंबर 6A जो है वो यूनिट 4 में से है, जबकि 6B यूनिट 6 में से है। तो लिहाजा क्वेश्चन नंबर 6 अगर आपने प्रिपेयर करना है तो यूनिट नंबर 4 और 6 आपको प्रिपेयर करना पड़ेगा। इस तरह से क्वेश्चन नंबर 7A यूनिट 7 में से है, 7B यूनिट 8 में से है। तो लिहाजा आपको अगर क्वेश्चन नंबर 7 अटैम्प्ट आपने करना है तो उसके लिए आपको यूनिट 7 और 8 प्रिपेयर करना पड़ेगा। यूँ सूरत हाल इस तरह से है कि यूनिट नंबर 2, 3, 4, 6 के लॉन्ग क्वेश्चन तैयार कर लें, या 2, 3, 7, 8 के कर लें, या 4, 6, 7, 8 के कर लें, तो आप के लॉन्ग क्वेश्चन अटैम्प्ट हो सकते हैं। उसके बाद बारी है जी आगे हम बढ़ते हैं। जो MCQs हमारे पास गेस्ट पेपर्स में सबसे अहम है। द स्टडी ऑफ इंटरनल स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ द अर्थ इज कॉल्ड जियोफिजिक्स। द नंबर ऑफ बेसिक यूनिट्स इन SI is 7. Which of the following is not a derived unit? Kilogram. Identify the base quantity. Distance. Amount of substance in terms of number is measured in mole. 1 liter is equal to 1 cubic decimeter or 10 raised to the power 3 milliliters. 1 gigagram is equal to 10 raised to the power 9 gram. 1 femto is equal to 10 raised to the power minus 15. An interval of 200 microsecond is equivalent to 2 multiplied by 10 raised to the power minus 4 second. Which one is the smallest quantity? 0. इसमें से है 5000 nanogram. Which instrument is most suitable to measure the internal diameter of a test tube? Vernier caliper. The least count of meter rod is 1 millimeter. The least count of vernier caliper is 0.01 centimeter. The least count of screw gauge is 0.01 millimeter. A measuring cylinder is used to measure volume. The number of significant figure is 0.00580 और इसमें है 3. To and fro motion of a body about its mean position is called vibratory motion. The motion of a body about its axis is rotatory motion. Which one is a vector quantity? Displacement. The product of velocity and time is distance. Unit of velocity is meter per second. The formula of velocity is V is equal to dot. A body has a translatory motion if it moves along a line without rotation. Seesaw is an example of vibratory motion. Which of the following is a vector quantity? Displacement. A change in position is called displacement. A sprinter completes its 100-meter race in 12 seconds. Its average speed will be 8.33 meter per second. By dividing displacement of a moving body with time, we obtain velocity. Speed of falcon is 200 km per hour. Speed of cheetah is 70 km per hour. The unit of acceleration is meter per second square. Or a train is moving at a speed of 36 km per hour. Its speed expressed in meter per second is 10 मीटर पर सेकंड, और यही अगर 72 किलोमीटर पर आवर के साथ हो जाए तो इसका आंसर 20 मीटर पर सेकंड आ जाएगा। A ball is thrown vertically upward, its speed at the highest point is 0. उसके बाद है Newton's first law of motion is valid only in the absence of friction. Inertia depends upon mass. A boy jumps out of moving bus. There is a danger for him to fall. In the direction of motion, the mass of body decreases when accelerated increases. Decreases, इसमें इसका दुरुस्त ऑप्शन है जी द मैस ऑफ बॉडी, none of these. In SI, the unit of weight is Newton. The spring balance is used to measure weight. The weight of a body is 147 Newton. Its mass is 14.7 kilogram. SI unit of momentum is Newton per second or kilogram meter per second. The formula of momentum is P is equal to mv. 1 Newton is equal to 1 kg meter per second square. The unit of force is Newton. When a horse pulls a cart, the action is on the earth. Which of the following is relation is correct? F is equal to ma. In isolated system, the momentum after collision of two bodies is constant. Law of inertia is known as first law of motion. The value of the coefficient of friction between tire and wet road is 0.2. Rate of change of momentum is force. Centripetal force always act perpendicular to the motion of the body. Formula to determine centripetal force mv square over r. The formula of centripetal acceleration is v square over r. The force that opposes the motion of moving object is friction. Which of the following material lowers friction when pushed between metal plates? Oil. Coefficient of friction between tire and dry road is 1. उसके बाद है if Fy is equal to 4 Newton, Fx is equal to 3 Newton, what is magnitude of resultant force? 5 Newton. Sin theta is equal to perpendicular or hypotenuse. The value of tan 45 is 1, value of sin 30 0.5, sin 40 0.707, sin 90 is equal to 1. Complete equation is Fy over Fx is equal to tan theta. The direction of force with the x-axis is given by theta is equal to tan inverse Fy over x. The center of gravity of an irregular shaped body can be found with the help of plumb line. According to second condition of equilibrium must be 0. Sum of torque. Two equal but unlike forces having different line of action produces a couple. The numbers of force vectors that can be added by head to tail rule is any number. The number of perpendicular components of vector are 2. A force of 10 Newton is making an angle of 30 degree with the horizontal. Its horizontal component will be 8.7 Newton. The turning effect of force is called torque. In SI, unit of torque is Newton meter. A body is in equilibrium when its acceleration is 0. Racing cars are made stable by dash lowering their center of gravity. A body is in neutral equilibrium when its center of gravity keeps its heights if displaced. States of equilibrium are 3. उसके बाद है जी द आइडिया ऑफ ग्रेविटी वाज पुट फर्स्ट अप बाय न्यूटन अकॉर्डिंग टू द लॉ ऑफ ग्रेविटेशन एफ इज इक्वल टू g m1 m2 over d square. Earth's gravitational force of attraction vanishes at infinity. The mass of Earth is 6 multiplied by 10 raised to the power minus 24 kg. Value of g increases with the decrease in altitude. The value of g at height 1 Earth's radius above the surface of the Earth is 1 over 4 gram. The value of g on the 1 of the 4 g. The value of g on moon surface is 1.6 meter per square. उसके बाद what will be the weight of 100 kg body on the surface of the moon? 160 Newton. The value of g on Mars is 3.73 meter per second square. The value of universal constant of gravitation is g 6.6673 multiplied by 10 raised to the power minus 11 Newton meter square per kilogram square. Total number of satellites in GPS is 24. Near the surface of Earth, the gravitational field strength is 10 Newton per kg. The distance between the Earth and the Moon is nearly 380,000 kilometers. The altitude of geostationary orbit in which communication satellites are launched above the surface of the Earth is 42,300 kilometers. The orbital speed of a low orbital satellite is 8,000 meters per second. The velocity of geostationary satellites with respect to Earth is 0. Moon completed its one revolution around the Earth is 27.3 days. What is the unit of work? Joule. 1 joule is equal to 1 Newton per meter, 1 joule, a kilojoule is equal to 1000 joule. The work done will be 0 when angle between force and distance is 90. The kinetic energy of a body of mass 2 kg is 25 joule. Its speed is 5 meter per second. The work done in lifting a brick of mass 2 kg through a height of 5 meter above ground will be 100 joule. The energy due to the motion of body is called kinetic energy. The energy stored in a dam is potential energy. Hammer raised up has potential energy. Formula of potential energy P is equal to mgh. A formula of potential energy is equal to Pe is equal to mgh. The energy stored in a coal is chemical energy. The energy stored in a dam is potential energy. In Einstein's mass energy equation, C is the speed of light. A major source of heat energy is sun. Speed of light is 3 multiplied by 10 raised to the power 8 meter per second. The unit of energy is joule. Rate of doing work is called power. If the velocity of a body becomes double, then its K will become 4 times. Which of the following converts light energy into electrical energy? Photocell, 1 horsepower is equal to 746 watt. 1 megawatt watt is equal to 10 raised to the power 6 watt. Power is equal to W over T. उसके बाद है जी द यूनिट ऑफ डेंसिटी इन सिस्टम इंटरनेशनल किलोग्राम पर मीटर क्यूब. डेंसिटी ऑफ आइस इज 920. वैल्यू ऑफ वाटर डेंसिटी 1000 किलोग्राम पर मीटर क्यूब. इन विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग स्टेट मॉलिक्यूल डू नॉट हैव द पोजीशन सॉलिड. इन एसआई यूनिट ऑफ प्रेशर इज पास्कल. पास्कल इज इक्वल टू 1 न्यूटन per meter square. Which of the lightest substance? Aluminium. What should be the approximate length of a glass tube to construct a water barometer? 11 meter. At sea level, the atmospheric pressure is about 10 13 1 lakh 1300 Pascal. Metals are good conductor of heat due to the free electrons. Hydraulic press works on Pascal's law. Liquid pressure at depth H is equal to pgh. In SI, the unit of Young's modulus is Newton per meter square. SI unit of stress is Newton per meter square. According to Hooke's law, stress over strain is equal to constant. Water freezes at 32 degree Fahrenheit. Boiling point of water is 100 degree Celsius. Normal human body temperature is 36 degree Fahrenheit. The value of coefficient of linear thermal expansion of brass is 1.9 multiplied by 10 raised to the power minus 5 per Kelvin. On Kelvin scale, the value of absolute zero is minus 273 degree Celsius. The formula for conversion of Celsius scale of temperature into Kelvin scale is Tk is equal to 273 plus degree Celsius. The unit of specific heat is joule per kg per Kelvin. Which of the following material has large specific heat? Water. The specific heat of water is 4200 joule per kg per Kelvin. The specific heat of iron in joule per kg per Kelvin is 470. Which of the following material has large value of temperature coefficient of linear expansion? Aluminium. The coefficient of linear expansion and volume expansion are related by the equation beta is equal to 3 alpha. Linear thermal expansion in solid is equal to L naught 1 plus alpha delta T. उसके बाद है जी दैट्स अ यूनिट ऑफ थर्मल कंडक्टिविटी इज वाट पर मीटर पर केल्विन. द थर्मल कंडक्टिविटी ऑफ ड्राई एयर इज 0.026. ब्रिक की है 0.6. वाटर की है 0.59. वुड की है 0.08. और विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इज अ गुड रेडिएटर ऑफ हीट. अ वाइड सरफेस. द सरफेस ऑफ लेसलेस क्यूब आर 4. In solid, heat is transferred by conduction. What happens to the thermal conductivity of wall if its thickness is double? Becomes half. Metals are good conductor of heat due to the free electrons. Ways to transfer heat are 3. The major source of heat energy, sun. Rate of flow of heat is Q over T. Example of a bad conductor is wool. In gases, heat is mainly transferred by convection. Land breeze blows from land to sea during night. Land and sea breezes are result of convection. Rooms are heated using gas heaters by both conduction and radiation. False ceiling is done to insulate the ceiling. उसके बाद है जी शॉर्ट क्वेश्चंस की बारी है. यूनिट 1 में से है जी डिफाइन फिजिक्स, डिफाइन एटॉमिक फिजिक्स, न्यूक्लियर फिजिक्स, जियो फिजिक्स, प्लाज्मा फिजिक्स, बेस क्वांटिटी, ड्राइव्ड क्वांटिटी, बेस यूनिट, डिराइव्ड यूनिट, साइंटिफिक नोटेशन, वाई अ स्क्रू gauge measures more accurately than a vernier caliber, define significant figures with example how many significant figures are in 0.027, estimate your age in second, define Vernier constant, define prefixes, give example, define least count, what is the least count of the meter art, digital stopwatch and screw watch. Write down two rules to find out the significant digits in a measurement. Unit 2 की बारी है, differentiate between translatory and linear motion, circular random motion, vibratory rotatory motion, scalars and vector quantities, distance and displacement, speed, velocity, acceleration. Write the equation of velocity. How can vector quantities be represented graphically, or define gravitational acceleration and write its value. Different उसके बाद आ जाता है define velocity and uniform velocity. फिर है differentiate between acceleration and uniform acceleration, write SI unit of acceleration, differentiate between positive and negative acceleration, write equations of motion for uniformly accelerated motion. A sprinter completes its 100-meter race in 12 seconds, find its average speed, convert 50 km per hour speed of body into meter per second. उसके बाद है जी डिफाइन फोर्स एंड इनर्शिया, राइट ऐसा यूनिट, डिफाइन मोमेंटम, राइट इट्स मैथमेटिकल फॉर्म, गिव इट्स डायरेक्शन, डिफरेंशिएट बिटवीन मास एंड वेट, व्हेन अ गन इज फायर्ड इट रिकॉइल्स वाई, डिफरेंशिएट बिटवीन स्लाइडिंग एंड रोलिंग फ्रिक्शन, वाई रोलिंग फ्रिक्शन इज लेस देन स्लाइडिंग फ्रिक्शन, राइट डाउन टू एडवांटेजेस एंड disadvantages of friction, briefly explain about banking of the road, what is the law of conservation of momentum, write Newton's first, second or third law of motion, or describe two situations in which force of friction is needed, what is meant by coefficient of friction, write its mathematical form, what is meant by centripetal and centrifugal force, write its equation and SI unit. उसके बाद है what is head to tail rule of vector addition, define rigid body and axis of rotation of body, what is resultant force, define torque, what factors it depends upon, write its formula, what is principle of moments, differentiate between center of mass and center of gravity, what is importance of center of gravity, explain couple with example, differentiate between like and unlike parallel forces, define rectangular and perpendicular components, define resolution of a force, state first and second condition of equilibrium, also state mathematically, differentiate between stable, unstable and neutral equilibrium, why the height of vehicle is kept as low as possible. उसके बाद यूनिट 5 की बारी है, डिफाइन फोर्स ऑफ ग्रेविटेशन, लॉ ऑफ ग्रेविटेशन, वाई लॉ ऑफ ग्रेविटेशन इज इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर अस, फील्ड फोर्स क्या है, हाउ कैन यू से द ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स इज अ फील्ड फोर्स, डिफाइन ग्रेविटेशनल फील्ड एंड ग्रेविटेशनल फील्ड स्ट्रेंथ. उसके बाद जी क्या है, राइट इट्स वैल्यू, वाई द वैल्यू ऑफ जी इज डिफरेंट एट डिफरेंट प्लेसेस. फिर है जी आर्टिफिशियल और नेचुरल सेटेलाइट में डिफरेंस, गिव यूजेस एंड फार्मूलाज आल्सो, राइट डाउन द फार्मूला ऑफ मास ऑफ अर्थ, एक्सप्लेन हाउ द वैल्यू ऑफ जी वेरीज विद द एल्टीट्यूड, व्हाट इज जीपीएस, राइट इट्स यूज, on what factors orbital speed of a satellite depend, why communication satellites and are stationed at geostationary orbit, what is height and speed of geostationary satellite from the surface of the earth, define geostationary orbit. उसके बाद define work and write its SI unit, also define it, how is energy converted from one form to another, explain what is the second name of solar cell and how it is made, define watt and write how much watt is equal to 1 horsepower, define energy, write its SI unit, what are the various forms of energy, differentiate between kinetic energy, potential energy, write the formula and example, define mechanical energy, also give example, why are fossil fuels known as non-renewable energy, what is biomass and how energy is produced from it, write down the equation of Einstein and value of C. Differentiate between chemical and nuclear energy, write the uses of wind energy, what is meant by solar cell. By defining magma, describe geothermal energy, what is meant by the efficiency of a system, write the names of the parts of solar system, define power, write its formula and unit. Write some important features of kinetic molecular model of matter, what is meant by plasma. In this gas, a gas occurs in which state, define density, write its formula and SI unit. The mass of 200 cubic centimeter of stone is 500 gram, find its density, state Pascal's law, give its application of Pascal's law, write the names of devices which work on the principle of Pascal's law, state Archimedes principle, what is principle of rotation, define elasticity, what is the tensile strain, state Hooke's law and write its equation, define Young's modulus, define pressure, write its formula, what is a barometer, why does the atmospheric pressure vary with height, why does the piece of stone sink in water but a ship with a huge weight floats, differentiate between stress and strain, write its formulas. Unit 8 है जी, differentiate between heat, temperature and internal energy of a body, define thermal equilibrium, what is the thermometer, why mercury is preferred as a thermometric substance, define lower and upper fixed point of energy thermometer. Write the scales of temperature. Convert 50 degrees Celsius on a Celsius scale into Fahrenheit scale. Differentiate between freezing and melting point. Define evaporation. How evaporation differs from vaporization. Why does the heat flow from hot body to cold body? What is meant by internal energy of body? Convert 20 degrees Celsius on Celsius scale to Kelvin scale temperature. Convert 100 degree Fahrenheit into temperature on Celsius scale. Define specific heat capacity and write its formula. What is meant by heat capacity and write its formula and SI unit. Define latent heat of fusion and latent heat of vaporization. Write its formula and SI unit. Define latent heat of vaporization. What is meant by evaporation. Explain how cooling is produced by evaporation. What are factors on which the evaporation of a liquid depends. What is the effect of temperature on evaporation. Write down two uses of thermal expansion in daily life. Define coefficient of linear thermal expansion and write its formula. उसके बाद है differentiate between conduction and convection of heat. What is transfer of heat. Write the names of the method. Define thermal conductivity. Write its SI unit and formula. Why are metal good conductors of heat. What is meant by conduction. Why conduction of heat does not take place in gases. Describe the rate of flow of heat. What is the mathematical form. Why does the transfer of heat in fluids take place. Why convection. Differentiate between convection and convection of currents. Also describe some uses of convection currents. Differentiate between land and sea breeze. Breeze. Define radiation. Write two consequences of radiation. How does heat reach us from the sun. और डिफाइन ग्रीन हाउस इफेक्ट व्हाट काजेज आ ग्लाइडेड टू रिमेन इन एयर. उसके बाद बारी है जी मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट लॉन्ग क्वेश्चन की. यूनिट 1 की बारी है. इनलिस्ट द मेन ब्रांचेस ऑफ फिजिक्स एंड डिफाइन ईच ऑफ देम. व्हाट आर प्रीफिक्सेस. गिव सम एग्जांपल. लिस्ट द 7 units of system international along with their symbol and physical quantity. Also explain with example how derived units are obtained. Unit 2 है what is translatory motion. Explain its type with example. Derived first, second and third equation of motion. उसके बाद यूनिट 3 है जी state Newton's second law of motion. Derive its formula. Define force in terms of momentum. How can you relate a force with the change of momentum of a body. State law of conservation of momentum. Explain with example. Define resolution of force. Explain how a force can be resolved into perpendicular components. How can you find center of gravity of a regular shaped body. Explain with an experiment. Explain there is a need of second condition of equilibrium if a body satisfied first condition of equilibrium. Right. Advantages and disadvantages of friction. Also describe ways to reduce friction. Define centripetal force. Prove that F is equal to m square over r. Unit 4 है जी explain head to tail rule for addition of vectors. How can a force be resolved into its rectangular components. How can determine the force resultant force F if its perpendicular components are given. Explain second equation of motion equation of equilibrium. Explain the difference between stable, unstable and neutral equilibrium. Unit 5 has state law of gravitation. Derive its mathematical formula. Calculate mass of earth by using law of gravitation. Derive the relation for gravitational acceleration g for a body which is lying at height h above the surface of earth. How can the mass of earth be determined. What are artificial satellites. Also find its speed at height h revolving around the earth. Number 6 है जी define kinetic energy. Prove that ke possessed by a moving body depends upon its mass m and square of the velocity v. Mass and energy are inconvertible. Explain with example. What is solar energy. How can we make solar energy useful for us. Define potential energy and derive its relation. How is energy converted from one form to another. Explain. Write note on the solar housing system. Unit 7 है explain kinetic molecular model for solid, liquid and gases. What is plasma physics. Plasma. Explain. State Archimedes principle. Derive its mathematical relation. How can we calculate the density of an object by using Archimedes principle. State Pascal's law and explain the working of hydraulic press. Describe and explain kinetic molecular model of matter. Explain pressure in liquid and derive its formula. Unit 8 define specific heat. How can you find the specific heat of a solid. State and explain heat capacity with the help of example. Define linear thermal expansion in solid. Derive a mathematical relation for it. Write the characteristics of liquid used in the thermometer. Define and explain latent heat of fusion and latent heat of vaporization and write formula. Define evaporation. Also write the various factors on which rate of evaporation depends. Explain volume, थर्मल एक्सपेंशन। यूनिट 9 की बारी है जी। डिफाइन कंडक्शन ऑफ हीट, एक्सप्लेन द फिनोमेना ऑफ कंडक्शन ऑफ हीट इन द लाइट ऑफ काइनेटिक मॉलिक्यूलर मॉडल ऑफ मैटर। व्हाट इज थर्मल कंडक्टिविटी, ऑन व्हाट फैक्टर रेट ऑफ फ्लो ऑफ हीट डिपेंड्स अपॉन। What do you mean by insulator? Give some uses of insulator. Why does the sea breeze blow during the day? Also explain why land breeze blows from land toward sea. What causes a glider to remain in air? Define radiation. On what factors the rate of radiation depends upon. What is Leslie's cube? Describe its working and principal use. What is greenhouse effect? Explain the impact of greenhouse effect in global warming. How does the temperature in a greenhouse can be maintained? Derive an expression to determine the thermal conductivity of a solid material. Explain the uses of conductors and non-conductors in detail. अब बारी है जी मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट एग्जाम्पल की। सबसे पहले 11.4 जो है एग्जाम्पल नंबर, वो सबसे अहम है। फिर 2.2, 2.10, 2.14, 3.1, 3.6, 4.2, 4.3, 4.5। उसके बाद है 6.1, 6.2, 6.3, 6.4, 5, 6.7, 7.1, 7.3, 7.4, 8.1, 8.2, 3, 4, 5, 6। ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट एग्जाम्पल है। उसके बाद बारी है न्यूमेरिकल्स की। 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, 1.7, 1.10, 2.3, 2.6, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, 3.8, 4.2, 4.3, 4.4, 4.6, 4.9, 5.1, 6.1, 6.3, 6.4, 6.7, 6.8, 6.9, 7.3, 7.4, 7.5, 7.6, 7.9, 7.11, 7.12, 8.1, 8.2, 8.5, 8.7, 8.9, 9.3। शुक्रिया, बेस्ट ऑफ लक। अपनी दुआ में याद रखिएगा और गेस्ट पेपर हासिल करने के लिए आप इस नंबर पर व्हाट्सएप कर सकते हैं।